there's that space of unmanifested, and you just plant the seeds there, and then it comes to the real world. So we're manifestation. Everything is manifestation. This is why I believe I said it. But I just want to go back to that point where you said, like, you don't need to heal previous 7 generations. The thing is, you are these previous 7 generations. You are all these future 7 generations. You are everything. The best thing we can do for all these generations, for the whole lineage, for all future, is to focus on ourselves and work on ourselves.
Welcome to another episode of Inspiroqa podcast. I'm so excited to record this beautiful episode because our guest is so special. We met, I think, from now on last week in one co-working space here in Bali, and we were just having a nice discussion, and she was giving me her story, and I was like, I'm not gonna ask you for a short interview. I'm gonna invite her for a podcast. So here we are today, and our guest is coming all the way from Serbia, living in Austria, Vienna especially, and right now she decided to move to Bali. She's a spiritual coach, leader, and I would like to know her personal life story. I want to talk about spirituality, about how she helps the other people. So here we are today with Masha Vodalov.
Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect pronunciation,
Oh,
actually.
because you are from Serbia, I'm from Slovakia, so we have similar language. So thank you so much for being here. How is your day going so far today?
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy. As I said, like I was super sleepy the whole day. So now I'm finally waking up. I allowed myself just to do yoga, sleep a little bit longer, and now I'm fully present with you and super excited.
That's the best. I didn't do yoga today, but I had a coffee and I had some late breakfast at 12, let's say. But because because recording the podcast, my body suddenly have a lot of power. So I would like to start this podcast to tell the people who is Masha Vodalov, what do you do, and what is your story? How did you become a spiritual coach?
Oh my God.
Take as much time as you need. Maybe I will have some other questions for you.
Yeah. So it's still sometimes hard for me to define who I am. I always try to run away from those questions. And when I hear it like spiritual coach or whatever, I'm always like, oh, okay, me? Really? I don't see myself as anything. And I even said this to you, I believe. I was guiding some breathworks, and the point was for me to introduce myself to people. And I forgot to introduce myself, which is quite paradoxical because before that I was always putting so much emphasis on, this is who I am, see me, see me, see me. But in the meantime, yeah, however people want to call me, I'm fine. Is it a healer? I'm fine with that. Is it as you said, spiritual leader? Sounds good. Whatever it is, I believe I'm really here just to spread love. So however someone want to call it, I'm fine with it.
Wow, that's beautiful. And what is the story behind? You already knew when you were a child you're gonna be following the spiritual path, you're gonna become a coach or something like this, or there was a story that told you oh, I think this is what I have to do right now.
Yeah, I had really no clue. I was quite intuitive as a kid, and I remember I had some neighbors. They were living in an apartment below, and they had these books about magic and stuff. It was like weird creatures, and I was just always drawn to these things. And in addition to that, I always felt super old. I think you told me about this as well, that you had this moment when,
Couple of times I had this kind of feeling.
yeah, I was always in kindergarten, I would be like, oh my God, these kids, who are they? What's going on? So I really never felt like I'm fitting into any boxes. Always felt super old, in a good and in a bad way. So, and I also had these dreams, which were quite scary at the time, like seeing colors, seeing frequencies and stuff like that. And that would wake me up as a panic attack. Of course, growing up in Serbia, what's panic, what's anxiety, what's there are no these things. So it's just okay, keep on. So really, I was just I spent most of my time like just suppressing that side of myself. I would even be like, quite aggressive in a sense. When someone would be speaking about it, I would be like, no. But most of the time, all these things that we're resisting are actually something that our soul needs, something why we actually came here. So when we're actually not living it, not allowing it, it's really frustrating. So, yeah.
And then I remember you were saying like, yes, you grew up in Serbia, but when you were around 19, you moved to Austria, right? Right now you are 26, if I'm not wrong, if I remember well. So coming back to, let's say, 7 years ago, you've been in Australia. Australia. I always make this sense because we call it Austria and Rakusko, and it's much easier. It's not the same. So Austria,
Potato,
especially,
potato.
yeah, potato, in Vienna. And you told me about your story, like you had a boyfriend at the time, you had everything, really beautiful one. But there also something happened that really told you, like, okay, right now it's the time to follow literally what I have to do. So if you can tell us your story that was happening, because it has really something when you realize you have to follow your dream no matter what. And I remember you also had like stable business about marketing stuff or something like this.
I had so many lives in this life. So that was like the childhood, what I said, like being curious, hiding to like read a little bit of Bible and stuff like that, because my parents were very down to earth. My mom had a medical background, my grandma as well. So it was, me being a little bit woo-woo was not the way to receive love. And when I was maybe 12, I watched the movie Secret. And I read Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, I believe it's in English. And that sparked something. But I still like, you see it, you cannot unsee it, but you're like, nothing happened. It's still like 3D, you're still doing the
Yeah.
things, you're still. And then the time you mentioned when I went to Austria, the idea was I go there to study. So I just wanted to get the fuck out of Serbia, to get a diploma that is useful, to just be a good girl. My definition was good girl with moments of, because I was anxious, but I didn't know, I would just be good, good, good. And then I would just freak out at some point. I would just go crazy for just the one day. And I'd be like, I don't know what happened. And I really, even the way I looked, I think we were speaking about this. In a sense, I was having, blonde hair because this is what society wants. I was just looking like a Barbie. At some point, during my bachelor's, I just started working in RBI, in Raiffeisen Bank. I was doing like a little student job there. I found my way to not do what I was supposed to do in a sense. At the time, LinkedIn personal branding was super popular. And I just, put myself into that position that was what I was mostly doing given there. And yeah, the life seemed perfect from the outside. I had a boyfriend, and at that point, just something felt off around him, around everything. Just slowly, things breaking down. And maybe a year before that, I started doing yoga. And yoga is not a physical exercise. And I came to it, I was like, wow, this is not really physical exercise. There's something happening when you do it. Everything changes. So basically, I was 22, I believe, 23. And it was the time after COVID, so everything was coming back to normal. And then he got diagnosed with a brain tumor. Yeah. And really, it was not a big deal in a sense, but it really allowed me to show my emotions, to be like, okay, it's fine not to be okay. It's fine to feel things. Like, no one's judging. Take off a fucking mask. And he really went into that mind side to look for answers. He ended up in Germany doing a biopsy just to see what it is. And like he spent every day just researching, saying, okay, what's the way to solve this medically? And at that time, I was slowly entering into meditation just to help myself, just to, detach myself from the situation that was there. And I sometimes I say I just woke up, but it's never like that. It's a lot of back and forth. It's like a spiral. You're like seeing something, then you're pretending you're not, you're coming back and forth and so on. So he really went there with his mind. And he ended up in Germany doing that biopsy. And at some point, he lost his whole right side and ability to speak. And later on, he recovered. Now he's doing amazing as well. But the thing is, it really made me question everything. It really woke me up. All these little like panic attacks, all these moments of me seeing and then unseeing, all the intuitive things that I was ignoring. It was like a phone ringing in Matrix.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's like you gotta wake up. Like this is such a big slap that you're just there and you're seeing all these things and you realize, oh, this is why I'm here. And all these things that I've been doing are actually not the things I really want to do. Who am I living for? What's this planet in the middle of nowhere? And how come can it be so unfair? You know, you step into that like victim modality. But when you wake up, you actually realize, oh my God, it's not unfair. It's actually what my soul needed. It's what I needed. It's what he needed. It's what universe needed for expansion. And then you see it's actually perfect in the way it is because all these little shakes were not doing it. And I really needed that big slap. I woke up. I started seeing world differently. I removed these bars that society was putting on me. I took off my hair extensions and I came to Bali. And I was sitting there in Seminyak on a beach. And I was like, this place feels like home. Feels so right. Me sitting in a bank makes no sense. Things I'm doing, they make no sense. I'm not really happy. I know there's something more. I don't know. And I was thinking in my mind for me to exit the corporate life that I didn't even ever entered really because I was just there as a student. But I was thinking I need to climb a little bit of corporate ladder, figure things out, then start my own business and I will be back in Bali. And we were talking about manifestations this morning. In my mind, it would take like 10 years to do all these things. 6 months later, I had my business. It was running and I was able to slowly quit my corporate job I was running my business. I unlocked the money energy, so to say. I got apartment that I wanted. I just, had everything at that point again. Funnily enough, even with that business that I was running, there's always that little voice being like, what am I doing? Marketing, really? And, when you're good in whatever you do, and you're good in whatever you do when you're fully present, then everything feels comfortable. But what if the passion is somewhere there and you think it's here? So that was I was always thinking, I'm so good in marketing, I'm creative. People feel when I'm speaking, when I'm writing. What's more, that's passion. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Universe laughed the way you did. So simply at that point, I figured it's not it. It's preparing me for something. I'm not sure for what, why, and so on. And yeah, I simply dropped it. I booked a ticket to Bali again, obviously. Came back here and I was writing in my little journal, I'm a healer, a word. Just I'm a healer. Then I'm doing my affirmations, whatever. And actually before that, in Vienna, I was talking to a friend and I told him, look, all these things I am able to see, all these things I know are true, all these experiences, all the shit I went through. If I really believed in this, I would just sit in the middle of this fucking park and I would start meditating. And at some point, someone would be like, who is this lunatic? They would record me, I would go viral, and I would be able to speak what I know. It would just open up if I was really sure, if I was really having trust and everything, and if I lived what I was preaching. Not even preaching, I was just sitting and like manifesting and, whatever was going on. And that's what we did. Like the day before I came to Bali, we organized like yoga and breathwork in Vienna in a park. And I was like, oh my God, this is what it means to live from the heart. This is why I came here, whatever, there are so many stages. I lived through that. When I discovered marketing, I was also like, oh, this is why I'm here. It's always like you're opening additional doors. So I'm sure, it's not end. It's not even nothing. Whenever I feel like, oh, I know so many things, I realize I have no clue about anything. So it's always like restarting.
Yeah.
But at that point, it really felt right. And then when I came to Bali, as I said, I was writing these, like, I'm a healer. And someone just came to me and they were like, hey, what's your name? I'm like, I'm Masha. And he was like, are you a healer? I was like, fuck, yeah. So that's how it started. Things started unfolding and yeah.
That's a beautiful story. I like that you find yourself, even though there's been so many challenges. But in general speaking, we as a people, we have so many challenges, like whether it's relationships or finances or job. These are the, I think, three major problems, challenges in this world we have.
Yeah, it's always money, food, and health. It's
Yeah,
always around these three energies.
it's all connected. And when you search for a solution, one day you will find it, and then maybe you can inspire also the other people, like Masha is doing, like Inspiroqa is doing as well. So you find yourself as a healer. Like I like the story that you write on the paper, like I'm a healer, like, and if you are connected, if it's like literally your soul, it's telling you, suddenly you become manifesting anything. And your manifestation was, are you like, what's your name, Masha? And then he said, are you a healer? Yes. And you were like, what the hell is going
And
on,
it's like, yeah, thank you, universe, for sending me that as a sign. Because sometimes we hear these voices in our mind or we see things, but the fun begins when you start attracting these synchronicities, when other people are saying your words, or you make these like codes with universe. I know if you're familiar with that, it's like you want to manifest something big. Obviously, it's going to take some time for time and space to come together. And then you can ask like, okay, show me, I don't know, orange elephant in the next 24 hours. And you just see randomly, nothing's random, but you just see an orange elephant. So all these like codes, when you start seeing it in 3D, it's like, oh, it's alignment.
It works. That's how I recently seen a video, like I told you before our podcast, about like explanation what is manifestation. Then I checked my life story and I manifested many things. I also manifested somehow life here in Indonesia. And I still want to manifest like much more, like especially Inspiroqa is telling me what am I supposed to do, how am I supposed to lead it. And it takes time to understand because sometimes you manifest something like unconsciously without even thinking about it, it happens. But when you want to manifest like blue elephant is going to open the door suddenly, it's not going to happen. But if you are aligned, it's going to really happen. That's why some people would like to manifest something like, yes, I want to be rich, so I want to have like $1 million. You start writing manifest affirmations to a paper, read them like 3 times a day, morning, lunch, before the sleep. But after a while, nothing is happening. And then you have to go more deeper, like what is going on? With this, AI helps a lot as well, or coaches like you, and they will tell you, you do it in a wrong way. First of all, let's find what is going on in your subconscious mind, and then we're going to reprogram it. So we're going to find what I did, like affirmations that currently is helping me to reprogram the mind, because you can decide. You're either gonna follow your own old path that, let's say, limits you, even though you want to be rich, but it doesn't happen in your life, or let's say it's okay to change it. Let's find a way. So I'm happy you probably also help people how to understand manifestation in their life, right?
I'm more in the team embodiment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Especially most people I work with are, let's say, 20 years older than me. Um, and it's also when I was doing marketing, right? I was helping entrepreneurs to build their personal brands. And why I actually wanted to ditch the agency and everything I was doing is because it was never about marketing. It was always about inner alignment or blockages that are within. It was a way you're giving a certain service or a certain, you're selling a certain product, creating a certain value. But if you don't believe that it's valuable, or if there is a fear or blockage, I don't want to go in chakras now, but if there is something inside that you really don't want to do it, it's impossible to grow on social media. It's impossible to grow your business because it all starts with embodiment. And I'm playing a lot or working a lot with spiritual constellations. And it's always when you're not aligned, when you're not embodying the things you want. So you want a Bali, be Bali. You want a perfect man, be that man. You want to, I don't know, whatever it is. You got to have it within. You got to have that inner alignment. And it goes beyond manifesting. Manifestation is just conscious use of words. And words are creating the reality. That's a fact. Like it's scientific fact, whatever. Whoever wants to have that kind of comfort. But when you really feel it with your body and when you release all the tensions that have been there, so whatever is happening in life, we tend to store it somewhere in the physical body. And when something is happening and reminding us of that situation, it's like poking that wound, that place. So you need to heal that. When you heal it, then you can manifest or whatever is going on. But this is why when I realized, oh my God, my clients are literally crying during the marketing sessions, I'm not doing fucking marketing. I'm lying myself. I'm lying them. It's just something within.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You explained it very nice. I like the way you said it. Like when there's something that is not aligned and you want to manifest $1 million, it's not gonna happen because maybe you have some financial traumas and before, or you don't believe yourself, you can be a millionaire. That's also what I realized a couple of days ago. I'm working on it, so I don't want to say I have it, but I'm working on it.
You
And
already have it. It has already happened. It's just about time and space aligning.
you see, that's the thing. And I do believe manifestation really works. And what I wanted to say more is just like affirmations sometimes can work, sometimes not. Whenever they don't work, there is a problem. There is a challenge that you have to fix. And it's really, or you can fix the affirmation. Like I said, AI helps you. Like if you say like I'm a millionaire, I have goosebumps right now, so I think it's gonna be happening. Believe. Like I'm a millionaire. I make let's say $10 million a year, right? But right now your situation is like you work as social media specialist, make let's say $2,000 a month, which is really good. You have nice living, but something within you is telling you I want to have more. I don't know why. Yes, that's the thing. But you also have to do something. And if it's not manifesting, but you have the desire, like that was my case, you have to do something else within yourself. Like, I don't mean you have to go for, let's say, how is it like other spiritual deep healing and maybe heal like 7 generations before. You can do it, but maybe it's not this one. It's just like the way you trust, the way you listen to yourself, the way the affirmation will be connected to you. That's what I realized. I was like, oh, that's a game changer. Let's try it this way. And since then, I realized because I also check one video from Mastermind about saying like how to get, let's say, new followers, something like this. So just find some motivational groups on Facebook, post something, and some people will like it, share it, or comment. And suddenly, because that's the thing, your brain sometimes needs to have a proof that it actually works. Like you said about the elephant, your mind actually, because subconscious mind already know, but maybe there's a blockage, like the concrete is really deep. And if your mind will understand, believe, then suddenly concrete is gone and there's a line and it's gonna be growing in a good way. I do believe it's gonna be in a good way. So I hope you told me like before this interview, you manifested everything.
Yeah, in a sense, I embodied. I got in contact with it super early. And I feel like, yeah, the things are being manifested because the word is good in a sense, but I'm like always struggling with words because what I see, like fuck, the word manifestation is not appropriate one. In a sense, there's that space of unmanifested, and you just plant the seeds there, and then it comes to the real world. So we're a manifestation. Everything is manifestation. This is why I believe I said it. But I just want to go back to that point where you said like you don't need to heal previous 7 generations. The thing is, you are these previous 7 generations. You are all these future 7 generations. You are everything. To help, the best thing we can do for all these generations, for the whole lineage, for all future, is to focus on ourselves and work on ourselves. When we heal, the whole lineage heals. So there is no such thing, a little bit, I just removed a little bit of something. It just goes, it's a ripple effect. You heal the whole lineage, always. Because all this time, it's only you. There is only you, right?
Yeah, these days the word healing has become very used. If you Google healing and how many people Google the word healing within, let's say, last 24 hours, there will be like the statistics will be like da 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 da. So I'm happy that there are people like you who actually helps us to guide. My personal journey is different because I've been into personal development since I was 21. Like you said, I also watched the movie The Secret, by the way, really good recommendation.
Yeah, I
You
was
can still
12. I
find
was
it.
12 when I watched it, so I don't know how I would react today. So,
If I was talking to a 12 years old Masha, she would be probably laughing, smiling.
yeah, I was even doing a PowerPoint presentation in school about it. Yeah, I was like, this is cool. Like, sorry for interrupting you. There were two things like that I did as a kid that helped me with meditations and helped me with awareness. One was speed reading course because it teaches you to focus your attention on one thing. And and then you see this like expansion of the vision. So I was super lucky that I got into it super early. And the second is like Secret and Eckhart Tolle.
Mm-hmm. Eckhart Tolle is also a really good one. I like his book, The Power of Now. It's about, I don't know if this book is about the ego or the other one he wrote about the ego, but the way he explains it really nicely, just like everybody will understand every single word. And it's translated to many languages, so everybody all over the world can either download it as PDF or whatever is that. I also would like to write in the future books, like I already writing the books, but like about this topic is really nice because I would say people need motivation and inspiration these days because if I can say from my own experiences, it saved my life. It showed me who am I, what I want to do, and just keep following this path and don't be scared. But for sure, it sometimes like ups and downs because what I see, I think you're never going to be healed 100% because if you heal something, after all, there will be something else. So become much stronger and stronger. And maybe if you're a coach, you can be talking about the other topics. So we can also follow, you can guide those people who have similar problems. Because, like, if you have problems with, let's say, like jumping from the rooftop to the pool, I also have the same. And you overcome this, let's say, fear and I have a deep calling. I want to do the same, but I'm scared. You're gonna help me. You're gonna guide me. This is just a crazy example, but just all of a sudden came to my mind.
Yeah, yeah, there is always more. And the universe is such a system that always wants to expand. So it's a very natural wish to always want to see, okay, what's more, because there is no limitations, so why not?
And why should we give the limitations to the universe when people say like our planet was created by universe, we were created by universe somehow? There's history. I'm not gonna talk about it right now because I don't know what's the true fact, but let's call it this way. Somehow, if I can meditate right now, yeah, I can find the answers. But we're talking about manifestation and spirituality right now. And maybe some people are skeptic when you tell like, oh, spirituality. No, like couple of decades. Like also you coming from Serbia, I'm coming from Slovakia, Czech Republic. Let's say we're brothers and sisters. When you say like you follow spirituality at the time, they will be like, you better not talking about. You can talk about like religion, whatever, but spirituality was like really like hidden topic. But this time is open. So could you please tell us how do you see spirituality in general? Like what does it mean for you? So people can understand.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Thank you.
I I don't explain anything, honestly. And the way I also come in contact with people I'm working with, they just show up. Um, and however they want to understand it, however we want to understand it, there's no, for me, it's just like, okay, I show you. Because there are different ways how we can enter into into the field or into the consciousness, into the source, however you want to fucking call it. One of the ways through mind, and that would be explaining. Yeah. You just go and you read a book. But I did this when I was, little, so to say. I would, okay, read a book, it satisfies my mind, but fuck that. I don't feel it. I don't show me. And to really see it, there's no book. All things I'm preaching and teaching, there's no fucking book. It's just everything you need is within. Just ask that question with your hand on the heart or without, it doesn't matter, whatever your way is to shut the mind and feel. And that's spirituality for me. Ignoring the mind, ignoring the body to a certain extent, but still adoring and loving the mind and loving the body because our spirit chose it. It took so much time to build this character. This is why I'm committed to allow myself to be whatever I feel like or whatever I feel is guiding me. So really spirituality for me is simply being without anything outside. And that's it. And again, it's not a good enough definition. It will never be. It's about experiencing. It's about feeling it.
That's beautiful because we as a people, when there is some term like spirituality, our brain wants to understand what is it about because it's something new for us, So I'm happy you explain literally from your own experience and really nice way so people can understand.
And when I think about this, like I had people asking me what do I do, and I say I'm a spiritual healer, and they take a step back. But then they're curious and they're like, how come? How old are you? Yeah. I'm like, I'm super old. So, and then with the time when they feel drawn and they're just around, even though their mind is scared, the body is scared. And of course, it's scary because there is part of ego that dies when you enter into these things. So the survival is like, oh my God, this is scary. So they're physically taking the distance. But the soul knows.
It's calling them like, just let's give it a try. I had this one. I joined Tantra Retreat for Men in Bali a couple of years ago. And it was 3 days. And first day we were talking about men's power. Like we had some sessions, like playing girl. I remember I had to play like as a tiger and just touching each other. It was really step out of my comfort zone. But I told my ego it's okay. Next day we were talking about ejaculation, why men have this problem. And I was like, I don't have problem with this. I might want to get back. Let's say fuck it, forget about it. But I told my ego, it's okay. There maybe will be some informations that I was supposed to be here to understand. So I stayed for the next 3 days. Next 2 days, it was 3 days altogether. And those information that I wrote down was like, oh my God, it's really, really beautiful. And so I'm glad that I joined this event, and it was beautiful. And I really like the way, again, you explain the spirituality, because I wanted to say the reason why I asked this question is like, you can see it here. There are so many people, they got lost, they're looking for themselves, but there are also people like called as spiritual healers, or like, I follow some spiritual stuff, I follow universe, or whatever is that. But there is one thing coming, it's called spiritual ego, which is about what I see, it's about everything. And it's basically like, I follow your spirituality, you don't follow me, let me be, I'm like this, you're okay. Those people don't, I'm not judging, those people don't realize that, but that's how they present themselves. Because me, I love spirituality, I love Jesus, I love universe, everything like that. I found the way that works for me. That doesn't mean it's gonna work for you. But I don't have to join every Saturday some spiritual circles and dance like this, pretend I'm free woman, I'm a free man, or whatever is that, and it's gonna help me, you know? If it helps you for some time, it's okay. But it depends on a person. But it's also part of a spirituality. But what I'm trying to say, it doesn't have to, that's what I see. If you follow spirituality, there shouldn't be ego. You should be aligned yourself like Buddha.
Wait. Ego is still there.
Yeah, but like
Still important.
yeah, it is. But in a good way, you know, I'm trying to say like you're not gonna show up in front of people like I'm something, you're nothing. In this I explain way. So there's like this. Yeah. I remember I had one constellation, because you also do constellation, but this constellation was about me and Inspiroqa. Suddenly my parents show up, so I decided like there was also my ego. And I was talking to this ego, and the way I wanted to see the ego is just like, I'm not gonna call it ego, take you as in a bad way. I told myself you're gonna be like my instinct. You're gonna show up when I need you to help me, like instincts. Like if I'm facing something, you're gonna help me to face the situation. So we had to find a cooperation. So when you find a cooperation and you be yourself, that's the best alignment. And we explained it very nice, I would say. I mean,
I need to like just come back to what you said about spiritual ego. So it's one of the biggest traps in spirituality.
thank you so much. You're talking about. That's what I wanted to say.
It's so important. This is why I really want to go back to it. It's like we're living in the set of rules, matrix, however you want to call it. This is right, this is wrong, this is a good girl, this is a bad girl, this is you do, this is you don't do. And then when people get into spirituality, they do the same thing with the spiritual practices. I need to meditate every day. I need to do this. I need to do this. Oh, you're judging. Don't judge. Judging is bad, you know? And it's like you just replace the cage, the bars in the cage with the nicer ones. But you're still in a fucking cage. And you're just like setting a new set of rules. At the end of the day, when you drop all the rules, it's when you actually allow yourself to be. And it's such an important topic, and it's something I see a lot, or I would have discussions where people would say to me, oh, I'm so woke, and I understand everything. I know exactly when something happens, I can backtrace it to the situation in childhood, and then I know, and I understand it. No. I'm like, okay, and where is that now? Where are these emotions? What do you mean emotions? Because fuck, the mind understands what it wants. It tells a story, but it's time to drop the story. That's the real power of letting the things go in gratitude, in love, in respect, in thankfulness, and deep knowing that whatever was happening for you and not to you. That's when you step into the creator mode, into the creative energy. Otherwise, you just replace a cage with another cage.
Oh, that's a really nice explanation. Simple explanation, but I do believe all of you understand. Opa. We talk about spirituality and manifestation. I like it. Do you have like some daily, I want to use like spiritual routine, like you mentioned, meditations, or how, like my example is, like you said, if you want to have a better life, you have to do affirmations every day. You have to wake up at 5 a.m. You have to do this and that, la la la. Suddenly, when I was doing this one, after some time I realized it actually stresses me out because every day is different for myself, especially I will have to listen to my body. If I'm really tired because of previous day, I don't want to wake up at 5. I realize that I need to give time for my body to recover, you know? So what are your, let's say, daily rituals if you do
Yeah,
something?
yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Tantra in the big couple of minutes ago, and it's all about the polarity, the Shakti and Shiva, divine masculine, divine feminine.
Yeah.
And divine feminine is divine chaos, divine masculine is divine order. The goal is to find that middle, that balance, that inner union, that space of love, that space of peace, that flow. And again, if you're too organized, good. But what's going on with the feminine side, with the chaotic side, with the creative side? So I just see, I love structure. I think it's something that allows us to create the things in 3D world. On the other hand, I'm very considerate of my feminine and what do I need. So I start my day. I never set an alarm. I just wake up when I wake up. And usually I wake up at 6 anyhow. I'm perfect in a sense. Like it's just been a long time. But I wake up, I see how do I feel. I have my plans and the things that I will do, but I see, do I want to take my morning slowly or do I want to work straight away? Sometimes there is time I'm so excited to do the things. I cannot fucking wait to wake up in the
Yeah.
morning and just like jump. Meditation is always the first thing I do. I rebalance my chakras, so to say. It just allows me to step into my day. I love rituals. So we were speaking about this, like quantum codes, stuff like that. That's something I'm quite frequent with. I do yoga a couple of times per week. Again, if I'm tired, I will like skip it or whatsoever. Journaling, journal a lot. Affirmations, mirror work is something that is very powerful. So many things, but depending on what I need, what my inner feminine needs. And that is possible because there is divine order, because there is divine masculine allowing that. If I would let myself just to, sleep all the time, you step into the wounded feminine, you become needy, you become manipulative, you become controlling in that sense. It's not the way. So it's about that balance. And I think Bali is a perfect space to live that balanced life,
Yeah.
to allow yourself to just be.
Thank you so much. I love the way you explain. It's really nice. It's coming from your heart. It's just not like you're in the script behind me, It's just like literally following the flow. My other question is about I see some people they struggle these days in certain areas of their lives, right? It is like finances, like we talked about, or relationship, or the job, because everything is changing so far these days. Like, if you had a job as a social media manager, let's say last year ago, this time those company realized, oh, I can lower the budget because of there's AI coming. So I don't need this manager. I can do it actually by myself within like 10 minutes. I don't have to pay somebody. So what would you tell to some people who are struggling in any kind of areas these days? Or maybe you can give your own experience, like
Yeah. I
if you
struggled
struggle
with
because
everything.
you
So I
see.
know. Yeah, I struggled with finances, I struggled with health, I struggled with relationships and love. Um, you just, what helped me, it's always deciding what I want. When you decide, it's done.
How did you, let me stop you for a while. How did you find what you want in this situation?
It's very hard work in a sense. You need to feel. You need to feel. There is always that knowing, that first instinct that we have and we tend to ignore and then overthink and overanalyze. At the end of the day, it's the first thing we thought. And you start simply. How do you want your day to look? And can you imagine that day? Can you imagine, are you waking up alone? Are you waking up with someone? What kind of job are you doing? What kind of influence and impact does this job has? How are you eating? Who are you? It all starts with that simple question. You just leave your phone, You just leave all the things that are numbing you and you sit down without any distractions and you ask yourself, who am I? That's how you will understand so many things, even the things you don't want to know. And then you will understand, okay, this is why I came here. It's not most likely the things you wanted today is not the thing you will want in 10 years or something like that. But it's all leading to somewhere. There are different paths. And step by step, decision by decision, day by day, you get to meet yourself more. But to be able to know yourself, you need to be interested in really knowing yourself. Yeah. And this is where the hard work actually begins. In a sense, do I like this or this? Do I like this because mom and dad said so and because society says it's right? Or do I really like it? And we know all these things. We're just lying a lot. And I know because, the biggest liar ever.
Sometimes people lie to themselves. I even lied to myself many times in my life. Sometimes it takes time, maybe a couple of days, weeks, months, even years, to finally pass this line and be honest to
Because it's
yourself.
scary.
It's scary though.
There is always that like shameful desire.
Yeah.
You want something, but you're thinking, how dare I want this? I already have this, this, and this. Because it's like in interests of society or of religion to keep you in shame and fear. And these frequencies are the lowest possible. Yeah. And then there is that resistance because, how? That question of how that is making us resist. And then there is a fear. So of course it's very natural start of everything. This is why it takes time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it takes time, but it's okay. If you are on this path.
But it doesn't. On the other hand, you decide if it takes time or not. Like when I look at the last week, I was just talking to one of the most beautiful souls I've ever met last week, and we were discussing the things we did. And I'm like, some people don't do this in 1 year because time, I don't really have a sense for it. So it's, again, additional limitation. Does it really take time? I don't think so. If you say it does, it does. But if you're like, it happens so quickly. This is why whenever someone asks me how old I am, and then when I say, yeah, I did corporate, I did this, because the time I'm allowing myself to experience the time. Mm-hmm. And it seems like I've been here way, way longer than I have.
I know what you're talking about. Like time is not just about 24 hours a day, but you can make so many tasks or you can feel so many tasks or decision within just one day that you're gonna feel like, oh, before it took me 1 week and right now I made it within 1 day. So it depends on how do you see the time, how do you see yourself, where you are, and you just want to use the time as best as you can. And before this interview, I was preparing myself and I was checking you have a website with all this information, what you do. And there was something, it's called conditional life, if I'm not wrong, right? About like conditional something like when I'm gonna make $1 million a year, I'm gonna be happy, I'm gonna do this and that, I've been also into these shoes many times, but it's possible to change it. I think some people still have it this time, right? You probably mentioned also some of your clients who have this one.
Absolutely. It's what we all have. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because you mentioned my webpage. I was talking to people, I've been building the webpage for this long. I built that webpage in like 4 hours or something. Because it doesn't matter. Like, in a sense, people will feel it or they will not feel it. And me saying this with a marketing background. It's the waiting for someone or something to come and save us. Mm-hmm. It's the most common thing ever. That's that conditional life I'm speaking about. That's that, when summer comes, then I will like start actually exercising. Then you're waiting for that summer to save you, or winter, whatever. You're thinking, when I get married, this person is going to come and then they're going to save me. I'm so sorry. There is no one coming to save you. There is no one coming to save us. When we put these limitations, we're putting ourselves in the cage. We're living conditionally because we are taught so. You cannot, I don't know, have money if you don't have school. I never use my diplomas. I don't think I will. Because actually, when you provide value, guess what? Or it's very natural. It's something that we're programmed to. As you said, like subconsciously, we have all these beliefs that we've been told to, and there is, when we're looking for proof on the outside, we find that proof. When you're looking for a red car, you will see only red cars. And this is like when you're looking for proof that you need something externally to be happy, the proof is everywhere. At the end of the day, everything you ever needed, everything we ever need is within. And that when never comes. It happens now when you fucking decide.
Yeah.
And that theory, so to say, is something that came to me just a month ago or something like that. I was thinking, okay, how can I make this less woo-woo and allow more people to understand what am I speaking about? And I had this like a high fever and I was doing breath work and it just came to me. I just saw the circles and stuff like that. And I thought, okay, it's a very nice way to show people that when you allow yourself to change shameful desire into the purpose, when you change the resistance into the trust by taking action, and when you take courage to take that action regardless of the fear turns into love.
Yeah.
And that's how you step from conditioning yourself, from keeping yourself small, into the creator mode. That's how you build that inner union, that balance between masculine and feminine, however you want to call it. But that's how you enter the flow and just stop waiting for shit. Because then you know it's already yours. What's yours will not miss you. And you stop blaming others. I think this is the biggest thing ever. Like, it's his fault. She's manipulative. They are doing this to me. When you do that, you're just putting your power out there and you're stepping into the victimhood.
Yeah.
But what if everything that is happening on the outside is just a reflection of you? If it's just a mirror? When my partner collapsed, when he lost his whole right side, masculine side, guess what it was? It was reflection of my inner masculine in a physical sense. So it's not him. It's just always one player.
Yeah.
The question is, do you want to accept it and see how genius this creation that we're living is, or do you just want to wait for the savior?
Just waiting for the savior. Yeah, it could happen. Somebody can show up and help you. It's like one of my friends, I'm not gonna mention his name. I think he does well. He's from my country. I remember this long discussions with him. Like he was playing in a band, and his friends tried to help him because that time he had some kind of depressions. But when you look at him, you're not gonna realize that he had depression at that time, right? And many times you told him, you should do this. You have a great life. You are such a great musician. You can play any kind of song on a guitar. You learn how to play by yourself. You understand guitars and the sound system. But that time he was always in depression because he didn't have the life that somebody else's life. He told himself like, I'm a skinny guy, I'm a small guy, nobody wants me, la 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 la. And he just told him like, you can change easily. You can just like start talking about yourself.
Yeah, it's not easy, but you can
Yes.
when you decide.
When you decide, maybe he even decide. I feel like he maybe understand like there is something to help him, but there is something really deep
Like,
holding him, you know.
it's, you know what it is. It's like I mentioned the frequencies previously.
Mm-hmm.
There's literally like a graph. That was something I was seeing as a kid. Like later on, I realized people actually take like 7 grams of mushrooms to see these things that I was just like dreaming about. It's David Hawkins, I believe. So there is courage in the middle, and there is oneness on the top, and then there is fear and shame in the lowest frequencies. Once you're in there, everything comes to fear back, and you're in this loop of fucking fear. And then you're just there. When you exit through the courage, you're just, everything is coming back to love, to love, to love, to oneness. But it's like that. And it's a loop. So you're simply there. And there's so many distractions. And when you go out there and everybody's like, yeah, you should be happy, you're ashamed to want to change because you think, look, I have food, I have this, I'm a white person living in the West, I don't know, whatever. Shame on me to want more. And you're just staying fucking there because you don't allow yourself to want more.
Yeah. That's also the case. Some of the people I read recently, literally about this one, that we've been taught like, how dare you to ask, how dare you to become a rich? You see,
Money is bad.
yeah, money is bad, or
Bad
like,
people have money. It's like, don't touch it. You don't need it. You're happier without. No, no, no.
see,
Bullshit.
just find some
It's
stable
all,
job and stay
it's
there.
energy. It's just energy. I remember I did this like last year in a constellation. Yeah, my mom had a fear of money in a sense. There was like war with Croatia and Serbia, all these things. Just like,
Yeah,
and my money was frozen. It was standing like that. Then in addition to that, like the whole Balkan system belief about money, that so many thoughts and beliefs and blockages, just remove it energetically. I removed it. I was like, oh my God, I made the whole yearly salary in just 1 month because I removed it in 5D, and it just manifests. We're carrying so many things like from our ancestors. People call it transgenerational trauma. Again, I'm not a vocabulary person. But all these things that we're carrying, we can choose to stop it there. When we stop it, it heals the lineage backwards, it heals the lineage forward.
I have a question about fear because fear is part of our lives. I'm not talking about fear of jumping from the rooftop or like fear of flying, but in a general, like fear of starting a new business or fear of doing something that your soul is calling or whatever is that. Do you sometimes, because you already, I would say you are becoming success in your life, you find what you want to do in your life, what you will do maybe for the rest of your lives, right? Do you sometimes have some fears? And if so, how do you, and if you change it from fear to becoming a love? Do you like imagine this is my fear and you're gonna hug it so it's okay, no worries, fear, I'm gonna solve it because that's what I would do probably right now, man.
Yeah. Of course, there is always fear. Of course. On the other hand, it's also coming back to that love, and it's a choice. And I believe with all the meditative practices and stuff like that, you notice when you get scared, and then when you notice it quickly, you come back to love quickly, in a sense. In Bible, it has 365 times have no fear. In any holy book, in any conscious book, it starts with something have no fear, it ends with something have no fear. And the fear is just because we want to control things. We want to know what's going to happen. But what when we just have trust that everything is happening for us? As I said, like the things that seemed like the worst things in my life were actually the best things. And when you survive it once, when you face the happiness, doesn't mean a lack of pain, but it does mean lack of suffering. Because if you are like this when something is happening and you're trying to fight it, when you surrender and you know that universe just wants to expand in any sense, then why not just surrendering and playing the game? It's simply not taking things seriously and knowing that, you created this. Whatever it is, your soul called this in.
Yeah.
And you can change everything. I really believe, or I know, I feel with my whole body and soul, we're creating all whatever is happening. So why have fear? And again, our soul chose to come here for a certain reason. That is expansion in a sense. With fear or no fear, we're getting there. So why not enjoying the ride? Because it's fun.
Enjoying the ride. Yeah, I like this one. For someone who feel lost these days, what would be your advice for them?
It's scary, but just leave your phone for 24 hours. Lay on the ground, sit, whatever it is, and you'll get all the answers. We're so distracted in every sense that we forgot to simply just be. And I really believe when you allow yourself to feel things and just sit with your emotions, sit with yourself, ask yourself a question: who am I? Ask whatever you need from God, just ask for it. It's so simple in a sense. It's not easy and it can be scary. But simply, someone's knocking. Simply talk to God within. That's it. Hey, I'm lost. I'm lost. I'm lost. I'm lost. Help me. That's it. And guess what happens? Your wish is my command. That's it. We have everything within. It's not about being like needy and going around and, being scared and thinking that you need to go to a certain place or certain institution or need anything. It's just, hey, it's just me and I ask for what I need and just talk to God within. Just talk to God.
Thank you so much for this beautiful message. It was our final message. Thank you so much, Masha, for having you here. This was Masha Vodalov. I hope you like this beautiful episode and see you in other episodes. Thank you so much, guys, for following Inspiroqa and wish you all the best.
Thank you.